pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve Morrison.
Here.
Martin Foley. Nick Hansen.
Here.
Joe Martin.
Here.
Pat Clinton. Here. Tom Siegel.
Here.
Karen Rowland. Here. Ladonna Kyle.
Here.
Kyle Smalley.
Here. All right, good evening. Need approval of the agenda?
Go ahead.
Congratulations, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Kyle, second by Madonna for approval of tonight's agenda. All in favor? Unanimous. Need to approve the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 meeting.
If no one has any questions, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Pat, seconded by Joe for approval of the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 meeting. All in favor? Unanimous. Approval of appropriation ordinance 1900.
I have a question. On Mid-America Sanitation, it was $3,000 for demo, which I understand it's for, but is that what we paid for? Is that what we paid other people for their easements? Because I remember Pam's was like $1,700. So I'm just wondering if we're in the
Some
ballpark.
of the easements were in the $4,000 to $5,000.
Okay, so that's
It just depended on
The area.
that area that was needed.
okay, so that's our share of what, okay.
Yep.
So we paid them $3,000 to tear the house down.
Yes.
How about the garage?
The garage is gonna have to go next, yeah.
Are they gonna do it or?
What's that? North County Road there.
There's no question.
Oh, there
Yeah,
is.
there is,
Okay.
it's way back.
Yeah, I think they did the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they
It
did.
just didn't get done.
Okay.
So it's gonna be done. Is there a reason we can't do that ourselves, in-house?
Disposal, basically. They got.
Couldn't we
you
get
got-
some dumpsters in there?
They
Just
don't
have them
usually
loaded
do.
and they haul it off? I mean, that sounds like $3,000. We could have done that ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, this was for the easement.
It's a trade-off, so
Yeah.
it's not costing us anything.
Yeah.
And typically, if we tear a house down, we're gonna put on the taxes anyway, so it's no cost to us.
Any other questions? Looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion to approve appropriation ordinance 1900.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Madonna, seconded by Kyle to approve appropriation ordinance 1900. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, let's move into citizens' comments. At this time, anybody from the general public can come forward and address the council if they'd like. Seeing no one come forward, so these comments are closed. Move into 2026 cereal malt beverage renewal for EK Enterprises, which is Raider Express and Pizza Dairy Incorporated Pete's.
Just take them one at a time. This is just the annual renewal of the alcohol beverage licenses for these two businesses, so take Raider Express first, EK Enterprises.
I'll make a motion to renew the CMV for Raider Express. I'll second that motion.
Got a motion by Ladonna, seconded by Karen for renewal of EK Enterprise LLC, cereal malt beverage. All in favor? Unanimous.
And then the other one is Pizza Dairy up there at the junction.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Approve their renewal.
Got a motion by Tom, seconded by Pat for Pizza Dairy Incorporated, cereal malt beverage renewal. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, the ordinance 2025-14, amend the truck travel regulations.
This was a late addition to our agenda. Speaking to Matt, there's been some difficulties in courts because the way our ordinance is currently written, these tractor trailer drivers have to appear because it's a misdemeanor offense. We've had people call from the Carolinas and from, hundreds, thousands of miles away and, can't make it to court, so This just essentially changes it to a traffic infraction, so it's a, you know, pay or repair type of thing.
My question, why are we, I don't have a problem with doing that, but why is there a flexible range? What would determine that?
My discretion essentially. So what I had been doing prior is for some of those out-of-towners, they're a CDL driver, and so there are federal laws and state laws that prevent me from masking any convictions that they could have that could affect their license. And so typically what I do, if they have mitigating factors for the stop, or if they have good sound character, because my discretion is limited on their CDL, I'll bring the fine down. I'll say, okay, well, if you pay this smaller amount of fine, then you can do that. And so the 150 had been the lowest amount that I was going on those, and so putting that discretion within the ordinance, now that it's an infraction, gives the court clerk option to enter it into the system at that lower fine. And if they come into court and they wanna contest it, I still have discretion to go higher.
I see.
As I see. So instead of it being a must appear ticket now, they can pay the 150, the lower end of the fine, and just plead guilty as is, pay the 150, and they don't have to come to court.
Do you think paying that amount is gonna help them keep them from coming in when they shouldn't be? Or what does it
Possibly.
does it make a difference?
One of the truck drivers I've seen recently only has like a weekly income of like $800, and so a $150 ticket with our $100 court costs, $250 of it. And so they were forced to pay the $500 was our $100 court cost, so essentially 1 week of wages.
It could also cost them a lot more than that if it affects their CDL.
And
Some
that's,
of them might affect their livelihood.
Right,
that's true.
right. And that's why they take the discretion.
Typically, yes.
Right.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Joe, seconded by Nick, for ordinance 2025-14 to amend the truck travel regulations. All in favor? Unanimous? Okay, move into condemnation review of 403 North Crawford.
The library.
Use the library.
Sorry, move into the library, part-time hiring.
Just speaking with Seth, one of our part-timers, isn't able to commit fully to all of the hours that, they were hired for, so, the library board asked if we could go ahead and hire a part-time person to cover those hours. It wouldn't increase the hours, it would just put a third person in there that would be able to cover those hours that she's not able to.
Do we have to have a motion or not? Since the library board,
Easy enough.
I'll make that motion then to hire a part-time.
I'll second the motion.
Got a motion by Ladonna, seconded by Karen to hire a part-time, librarian. All in favor? Unanimous? Okay, now we'll do the condemnation review of 403 North Crawford. John?
This is the Carol Geese House, 403 North Crawford. They did demo 401 North Crawford the other day. Jamie's done a great job of making sure that he's come up for review, so this is the scheduled review date for 403. Speaking of Carol, they need some time over the holidays for her family to come in and help move some things out. There's a lot of stuff in there, so. I would ask for another 30 days or whenever the January meeting is to give them time to go ahead and do that.
I don't have an issue with this, doing that, but my question on condemnation, when we're doing condemnation, why are we not saying we want everything that's on the lot to go? Why are we just choosing, like the one on Cayuga? Why are we choosing the house? Why don't we just say, any structure on that lot needs to go?
It comes down to whether we can prove that it's a nuisance of some kind, whether it's a health nuisance or it doesn't meet some sort of code. I mean, it's pretty easy to hit them on some electrical code or plumbing code or
Right.
something that's not compliant with, so.
But a garage won't have that, so,
Right.
because I know there's a limb on that roof of that garage.
Yeah,
Even though.
that was also an oversight. We're gonna have to remedy that
Okay.
also.
Okay,
It's on the schedule.
okay.
But there's a couple houses on like, by Mark,
Yeah.
but they look very terrible.
Yeah. this would just be put on until the January 14th meeting to give her time to clear that out.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Kyle, second by Joe, so move forward with the 403 horsepower property condemnation, all in favor?
No.
No.
Extend.
Does extend it, yeah, okay, sorry, delay it a month, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, let's move into the cost of living discussion.
Sorry, annual public discussion and falls in council's court of what you wanna do. I'll give you the information, we budgeted for 3%.
So we've already approved the budget for it.
Right.
Okay.
So there's several ideas that have been floated around and that's the council.
We got a motion to approve or?
Well, we won't do that.
It's just basically a discussion to, I believe, is, opportunity to discuss.
Oh, you would to go ahead and approve it.
Since,
Yeah.
The only problem I've got is the distribution, and I have it every year. The distribution. I think that money ought to be split amongst all the employees, so everybody gets the same. Because what you're doing is you just keep widening that gap and widening that gap. And I'm not saying every year, but every 3 or 4 years, I think that's the way to do it. That's my theory.
So Tom, do you wanna do that where we do the COLA raise and then give a 1% more
No.
to?
No.
You don't?
He wants to take the 70 and divide it by, say, 32 employees.
Okay, that's it.
Give 3% to the part-timers, take the rest of it and split it equally among all the employees, all
Give 3% to the,
Part-timers.
of them. Part-timers,
can you do that though? I mean, if you give a cost of living,
you can't give them part of it. You can't
I
divide
think
that
we can-
equally, not to the part-time.
I think we can make a motion however we want. Yeah.
So in essence, we're punishing people for being supervisors.
No, you're rewarding the lower class people. Because their cost of living is the same as the upper, you know,
The-
their eggs cost the same for everybody, and milk, and bread.
I think part of our issue is for a large majority of our people, this is the only raise they'll see. I don't know how many merit raises we gave last year that we voted on as a council, you know?
How many did we give last year? Could we get could we get Renee to,
Most of them are in the police department. I don't know how many.
could we get Renee to make a
But
report
when
on
we,
that?
and I'm just speaking in general, and I know how my memory is anymore, that a lot of those raises have been, they've changed positions, or they've got promotions, or things like that, on different things.
Some sort of certification,
Yeah.
licensing.
Certifications, and
Right.
sometimes I think we conflate merit with a certificate. And those aren't always the same thing, you know, I mean, we very seldom have run-of-the-line employees or, just in general that are brought to us for a merit raise. And sometimes to get a certificate in that is, the ability for people to get that is limited. Now, I'm sure if we're doing cross-training, which we've said we're doing, and, things like that, and as I've said in the past, that's, I've said a lot of this stuff that was addressed in here, have come from what I brought up in the past. And I just, part of the reason I bring it up is I feel like this is the only raise a lot of them get. And if that's what the council's good with, that's what the council's good with. But, when we do that, if I make $20 an hour and in today's economy, and I get 3% for 10 years, in 10 years, I'm making $20 an hour. Cause I'm just saying I haven't improved, and that's everybody across the board. And I haven't improved it, a little different on the lower end. And, I don't know if I've looked right at some of the stuff we've gotten before, no more than, I'd say, 75, 60, 70, 60% of our people are under 5 years of experience. I mean, if you go through the police department and you go through, if I looked at the last thing that you did, and, I mean, you know, we've got fairly young or new to us staff, and some of those things that are thrown in together are, you know, they could be, they have certain certificates, but that's, my issue is I see this as, for the large majority of our people, this is the only raise they will get, or have the opportunity to get. Because like I said, I can't remember us voting on one this year. That doesn't mean they
You
didn't
guys-
get it.
Yeah, you guys had asked when we had this was several years ago, you guys, when we kept bringing merit raises to you guys said, we don't need to see these, if you do those in-house, then that's fine. So that's why you don't see the merit raises, that's why you don't approve those.
I don't think I've ever said that. That may have been before me. I don't think
No,
I've ever
it
said that.
wasn't.
It wasn't, you were
You
there.
were
Okay.
We held a special meeting
Could we,
right after you guys took office, you and Tom.
can you get Renee to make a report, just like the last year, who got merit raises and how much they were?
I mean,
That we can
and that
look
could be
at?
in a packet. If council's okay with that, it could be in a packet that this happened. That would keep me from asking these questions.
Well, and I think that if our people are going to get raises, it should come from their department heads saying, this one is really stepped up here and I think they need to get raised. And I don't know that our department heads are doing a very good job of that, but I think that's the position. If those department heads think this individual is really doing a good job, and regardless of this COLA, they should say, hey, boy, you know, Ladonna's really done well this year and picked up her pace and so let's increase that pay. But we don't have that brought to us, so it's telling me that, I don't know what it's telling me for sure. It's telling me that the department heads aren't pushing it enough, or that we're not seeing that improvement. I don't know.
How would we know to be able to say that?
Be able to say what?
We haven't been given that report, yes or no, so how would we know that they're not doing a good job of that?
Yeah, I mean.
That's true, you're
know
right.
that.
That's
You
true,
can't say
you're
that.
right,
That's
you're
not-
right, we
That's not
don't.
fair to say.
That's true.
And this could be the
Yes.
discussion we talked about having, 2 months ago? Where we talked about salaries and Steve brought us the information and things like that, and it kind of fell because of, it had to be in an open session like this, which you can talk generally about that, you can talk
Right.
individually about people in executive session, you can't talk about them out here anyway.
Right.
And, you know, like I said, I think because of how this has happened in the past, that's why they're getting conflated together. And so that's, it's not so much for me the COLA itself, but I just see that overall as just kind of doing that. I know the percentages, I know all that, but I don't know if a lot of cities just do raises across the board like that. I don't know that. I know a lot of industry, I shouldn't say, I know what I've experienced, so anyhow, I live with that.
Well, that's a fair question. Is that standard procedure from the cities around us, that they give a raise by percentage?
I would assume so, I don't know how many exactly.
I know that's how the county did it.
I don't know.
The county was all 3%,
Oh.
no matter if you were
That's right.
way up here, way
That's right.
down there.
Yeah.
It's all the way through.
You got a lot of merit raises too. I've seen them get
Oh,
18%
yes,
one year,
yes.
I've seen that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's happening here too.
About that 18%?
Was that me?
Yeah.
As far as I know, because we haven't had anything brought to us that would tell us different, we're happy with the employees we have overall. I'm sure they're not all perfect, I'm sure they're not all, you know what I mean?
Right.
So all I'm saying is, when you look at the number of years, and I know we've had some guys retire, I know that. And in this day and age, in this economy, and the way jobs are, You know, I mean, I think we're competitive, and I hope we stay that way, and look at what we can do for those people that are just at the lower end, or, you know, like
Well,
our turn doing the great
I wanna
work.
remind you that we approved their insurance again
Mhm.
for full pay, which at 8% was roughly $65 a month
Mhm.
for everybody. That's money they don't have to pay.
Right,
And I just wanna say that I know sometimes that is something that gets brought up as a question, and if you were to deduct that out, you would cripple this conversation the other direction.
yes.
And so it's hard for me to sometimes, I feel like we're talking
Yeah,
both directions.
and in
So-
that, what we did was we also raised the deductible. So there's more out of pocket, which is, we had to. So,
But I
and,
think going back to your packet, we showed that that's not the going trend around us.
Right.
right, and that helps.
I don't begrudge anybody getting a raise. I feel like everybody needs a raise every year. But the way we do it, we just keep spreading that farther and farther apart. And I'm not saying every year, but every once in a while, we're gonna have to kinda help that little guy. That's my thoughts on it.
And I don't have any trouble helping look at, but I still think we need to pass the COLA rate, I mean, do that for everybody.
What everybody's gonna get.
Yeah, the COLA rate's right.
It's just everybody's gonna get the same amount.
I think you have to be pretty careful when you're doing that, just so there's not discrimination when you're picking and choosing who's getting what.
That's where your evaluations are essential.
Discrimination.
Yes, and that's where you're separating cost of living versus evaluations and merit raises.
This
I'm not,
is not an employee rate, it says right there. It's an inflationary adjustment.
are you saying that you think if we give different colors, that would be a problem with discrimination?
Yeah, I did. I think you could go there.
I was trying to say,
Because it's
is
cost
that
of
gonna
living.
make a difference?
Everybody pays the same amount at the store. I mean,
Joe, you're looking at me like you want an answer from me.
Yeah.
I don't know that what proposal, it sounds like Mr. Siegley is, proposing, would constitute discrimination. If everyone is getting the same amount of money, I don't think it would. Discrimination comes from favoring a protected class over someone else for the same opportunity or benefit. So I don't know if that's what's at issue,
And,
depending on what the proposal is.
and I would, you know, like those other guys that said I'm not against the code part of it. Like, I'll say it last time, I promise, is I just feel like for a lot of people, that's it. And it's been it for, and I'll leave it at that.
I would like to have Renee, if she could, just go back this past year and give us a report on who got a merit raise and how much it was out of all the employees, just for our, just so we know.
And did we wanna make sure who got certificates got a raise?
A merit raise based on certificate and those that got certificates with no raise, is that what you're saying?
I think we're pretty good on the certificate part.
Maybe address the merit raises, I don't know how well they can keep track of that, but if you got a merit raise based on a certificate or.
The conversation always goes this direction. I don't know why you assume that we're not doing evaluations and we're not doing merit raises. I mean, our department heads, I think somebody said it, department heads need to make a recommendation for their employees to get some kind of raise. I mean, I'm not gonna,
I agree,
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
not every employee does and how
Okay.
they do it.
You got approved.
The reason it keeps coming from me is that it could be in the packet. I'm not assuming anything, I don't know.
Okay, my only concern with that is then we're gonna start looking at, oh,
Why?
this one got,
Why?
yeah,
Whereas
but this one got a merit, then we're gonna be right back to where we were before, and I don't want that.
How much somebody
They,
makes.
they are the people that should be
Okay, but
doing that.
how much somebody makes is public record.
I understand that, But I do not wanna sit and pick and,
I don't either.
well,
Raises
but
should be a public record too.
they are, yeah, I'm not,
No,
I
they're
understand
not.
they're
They're
not
not. I
public
mean,
record, but I'm
if they're
saying,
public
you'll
record,
get, you'll.
If they're public
you'll pick
record,
on
we ought to at least be able to get them in the packet.
I get the
But
point.
we
I
asked,
mean,
we
could,
said we didn't want, we said
No,
before as
no,
a
we
council.
didn't say that.
Yes, we did, Joe.
I did not say that.
Yeah, you were on the council, Joe.
No,
Yeah, you were.
I would not have said that.
Mark's brought it up several times in front of me since I've been, in session in front of him. He said he didn't care about hearing who
He
gets it.
has. That doesn't mean all of them have.
Well, it said open session.
Yeah, he has. That doesn't
Change
mean
it, we
all of
wanna
us
know
have.
every raise now. That's easy. Take care of that.
I don't want
It's
to know
over.
every raise.
Well, then.
Well, that has to be done as a council. That has to be done as a council, not as one individual. I mean, I can't say, I wanna know every raise, and the rest of you don't want to. That has to be a council.
No, there's a guy who used to publish your salary and sell
I don't care.
copies.
That, I'm just saying, I'm
So
just
are
saying.
we talking about a yearly package of review?
I don't know, I just, when he asked the question why this comes up, I gave my reason why this comes up.
Or should we just get a little little report from the police department saying, hey, such and such got a merit raise or they got a performance raise, just an FYI type thing.
Yeah, just something to let us know. Like I say, I'd like to know last year how many were given out.
In the notes, I mean, it's not a big deal.
So we could get that possibly in our bi-weekly packet and
Yes.
then a year-end report?
sure.
Cause one of the things I didn't know, and I'll just use the examples, our current SRO. And when we were talking about stuff, I wondered, so he asked Cody sent me a thing, said, yep, here's when it happened, okay. I just wanna make sure that the guy got the bump for going to Hutch, you know? That,
So we'll get some sort of notification bi-weekly
or, yeah, just when.
and then a yearly, end of year report as well, that would just reiterate what we got bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And then nobody gets one, then I get a report.
I just don't wanna get into the weeds on a discussion as to why a
That's
certain
right.
person got it. Is that certificate worthy? Is that training worthy? I mean, that's up to the staff.
To me, that's
Yeah,
up
I
to the
agree.
department heads, that's up to you guys.
But I guarantee you give us that information, there's gonna be discussion.
I can
Yeah,
put
you
it
know.
in there for you.
Does that do anything for our discussion on COLA this evening, though?
No, but I think if you do present that in our packets, I think that everybody in this room needs to understand that we can't talk about that in open session, that would have to be an executive session.
You can't talk about individuals.
Yeah, exactly, I think everybody needs to be reminded of that, because I think this is gonna go sideways pretty fast.
And we don't have to agree to go in executive session if somebody wants to go in. That's a
Agreed.
vote of the council.
That is a vote.
That is a vote of the council. But we have done that before. We went in and talked about individual people's salaries and the why. We have done that. This is not new territory.
So is there any further discussion this evening on the COLA?
When do we have to vote on that?
Either this meeting or next,
Okay.
cause I think the next, January meeting's the 14th and payroll's the 15th, so we have to get ahead of that.
So you,
Tom, I'm curious, I'm just asking, but the way I read this, we have an option. Option one is we pass a 3% COLA, which comes at the amount that's listed in our paperwork as the payroll impact, that's the number. Another option is we divvy up that amount some different way, whether it's hourly people get a dollar, I'm just throwing numbers, but everybody gets $1 an hour, and then department heads or leads get a certain piece, and it's all staggered. And math, I'm not a math social studies guy, so math, that's not mine, sorry. But I feel like that's what I keep hearing other people say. And I really feel like that's where we're at, that we need to have that on paper. Like, here's option A. Option A is we're giving the hourly people this, and we're giving this, and then option B is we're just doing this 3% across the board. Is that, am I close? So then the question is, what is option A really look like?
I think.
Because then it wouldn't be classified as a COLA, it would just be, this is the raise that we're giving.
That's right.
To go
Yes.
back to the question of discrimination, that's where if you get so particular with option B there, that there calls into some question about that, where a protected class could be disparaged simply because of their class status. If you are individualizing the raise that much, that's where it could possibly be that.
And you would think it would if
That's
we
where
did it based on hourly versus salary.
When I first heard the proposal, I don't know, but as I hear the proposal spoken more in detail just there, it becomes more individualistic. And that's where you
If we-
possibly have it.
So if you gave everybody the exact same amount across the board,
Absolutely, there's no question on that, everyone's getting the same. But if you are going to.
not
percentage,
percentage,
then that's just a-
not percentage, but dollar.
I think that would probably be fine, because there's no, you're not saying person A who is in protected class is gonna get X dollar, and person B who's not in a protected class is gonna get Y dollar, so that's where it's.
That was just a question for clarification, I have.
Maybe if we get it off the COLA and leave the cost of living, and then maybe get some more information about how what our evaluation process is. Not but what the process is and how we're coming up with merit things. That type of information might make the whole thing go away.
Make what go away?
And again, the reason I bring it up is because I see the COLA as the only raise. So let's put the COLA over here and give people a raise, okay? And then, okay, how are we, I don't have a clue what our evaluation process, and I'm not trying to get too much into the weeds. Okay, but, I'm just telling you how I see it. I'm over here, that, okay, this is how we're coming up with this. That might solve everything, for me anyway.
I don't feel like this is unique to Frontenac. I don't feel like this is unique to us.
It's unique to anyone.
And so I would be very curious how other municipalities handle it. I don't know if there's any good way of getting a record of how that's handled or anything. Say, if there's a structure, I know just from listening to other area municipalities around here, like, I know it's not unique to us, and I know this is discussions they have too, so.
But most of them give the COLA raise and then give that other raise, like he was talking about the county. Everybody got that COLA raise, but then other people might get additional raises. And that's where we're coming
Places may
in,
just
where ours
give
are
one
coming
raise.
in too.
Maybe just give
Coming in too,
I don't even consider COLA a raise.
yeah,
It's cost of living.
yeah, that's
To
true.
increase
Right.
with the state penny with inflation.
So,
I make a motion, we go with 3% COLA now,
I second it.
just so
That's off the
straight
table.
across the board
Yeah.
for everybody, and we've got, once again, we'll wait until the end of the year, till COLA was upon us, to try to come up with any recommendations of how to distribute differently.
We got a motion by Kyle, seconded by LaDonna, to go with the 3% COLA. All in favor? Opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
Abstain?
I'm not against the COLA,
5-1-1.
not having the additional information.
Not against the raise, it's the distribution.
Motion carries 5-1 to 1.
And just on Kyle's comment, we have talked about having this discussion earlier in the year. I thought budget time was a great time to do it. I think the year before, you guys decided you didn't want to, so, I don't know why we always push this to the end of the year and then have this.
And then it gets on us and we're in a crunch. and-
Yeah.
I'd still like to get that year-end report on who got merit raises this year.
I will.
And how
On the
much?
next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Let's move into wastewater funding discussion. John?
The known this is coming for a while. We just need to have another discussion about the, funding our wastewater treatment plant. We should have better figures from the state. I think the deadline's next week. Joe, you remember them saying that they would have it by, I think it was next week.
Is it?
Yeah.
The 3
I
weeks
think
out.
so. For some reason, the 15th sticks in my mind.
So we should have rates by next week. Until then, we're just kind of going off of estimates on what we could be seeing. $21.9 million loan is what we're gonna have to take out regardless of any grants, any loan forgiveness. We have to take out the full amount, and then anything that we get on top of that is deducted. You can see that the annual debt service on that is about $956,000. We don't have the budget to handle that, not even close. And so,
What's O&M?
operating maintenance,
Okay,
so
thank you.
just
Okay,
normal operations.
okay.
So I've floated a couple of ideas several times, and I don't know if you have any different thoughts on how you want to go. Rates only, this is kind of what we're seeing. Right now, we're at 32, is that correct figure? 32, we'd have to see closer to 75, maybe even more, depending on where the rates come in. Half-cent sales tax does get us about $425,000 a year. It does allow us to keep the rates a little better, top out at $56 by 2033. And then if we go all the way to a 3/4 cent, we top, I shouldn't say top out, that's the break-even point. That's where we would have enough revenue to actually operate, and we would have to use reserve funds to get us that. But I kind of picked a target date of 2033 to balance out. So I think the big question I want to know tonight is, do we want to push the sales tax question to this spring? Do we want to push it to next fall? Kind of need to know at this point.
I mean, if we started the sales tax now, then we can start putting some funding back.
Yeah. I think we should go with the sales tax.
I mean, it's like,
It's more evenly distributed than charging everybody more on their sewer, which I know we're gonna have to still charge a little more, but.
In about a third of our water taps pay the minimum. Didn't I hear that one time or another?
Probably so.
I mean, that's just, a lot of those people are,
Can't afford it.
a lot of those people, that would be, I mean, they probably, for that reason, that
Yeah.
help. That is gonna stick some folks. It depends on how much we wanna make it.
And not by our choice. This is mandatory from the state.
This worst option.
What do you guys feel on sales tax?
I think that
You don't know.
Oh,
It's a try.
as the sales
I don't
tax.
really think they have any other option
No.
except the sales tax.
No, because I don't think people are gonna accept the $75 a month.
Jumping $50 a month.
It's real easy to tell somebody it's $75 a month because you go to no on the other one.
You got a lot of people that are on fixed incomes that could not.
Right.
Well, it's gonna be steep enough going from 32 to $48
Right,
a month,
it
if we
is,
go to
right.
0.75.
Right.
So I really, I mean, 3/4 of a penny sales tax,
So you're saying go with 75? Yeah.
that's what I would definitely say that, if not even a penny, personally.
I think it's good.
And we
All
have-
we can do is try.
We have the money back, so we do have several $1,000,000 that it can get us, so we don't have to just jump from 32 to 48 or 32 to 56, get a gradual increase.
I think this is not anything any of us want, but like John said, it's kind of, the state's mandating we upgrade our water treatment plant. And so, we really have no choice.
And we've talked about, John, a good fact sheet in a water bill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And that's a good place for it to look.
yeah,
This is why,
we need to get the
this,
information.
yeah, it's not a choice, this is why, but here's what happens if we don't.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, that's the worst option.
Got a lot dumped on us, we got, $12 million loan for the water plant, and now 21 million for wastewater, so it's a lot to take on.
so we put it on the April?
We could,
If we vote for that this evening, I think we're gonna have to have that to the county by the end of the year.
Yeah, I can get some language together and you can approve language the next meeting. I mean, it's very simple, it's just a general sales tax for the city.
Now that we have
I
to,
think so
it's
too.
it gives us a whole, it gives us even more time to try to figure out the next piece.
Right, we gotta know what
Or go
our
back,
first
or go,
answer
and
is.
be, or be able to go back to the different rate,
Right,
or,
Yeah, for a different campaign.
right.
Yeah, I think this is somewhat known in the community, but I don't think they fully understand the full grasp of it.
And that's why that fact sheet of the sales tax rather than the increase of the sewer would be very helpful.
I recommend mailers. I think that we need to make sure the public is informed, that they can come ask questions here. I mean, we really need to get the information out.
Yeah. So what can the council do to help with that, or just support it, but I mean, is there something else we can do to help?
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
And see,
Okay,
see what kind of ideas we can put together.
Okay.
Some sort of,
Do you need a motion for a 0.75 sales tax?
not tonight, but I'll get some language together and we can approve it at the next meeting.
Thank you for being somewhat proactive on that, John. Move into old business. Nick?
no, sir.
Joe?
Yeah.
Pat?
No.
No.
Cars, old cars untagged, we've got some out in the Capitol that need to be addressed. We've got at least 3 addresses that I can think of, that I don't think have ever been approached. And I don't know if I need to get names and addresses, or,
If you got some addresses, you can get to me. Yeah.
I know of one, but I don't know the other 2 for sure, what they are, the
Okay.
addresses.
Give us an area and I can, or else from it.
Cause I've had several people ask me about it,
Okay.
and it's time to keep bringing it up.
Yeah. And on the vehicles, you know, it's complicated. Dealing with motor vehicles is complicated. The notification process is complicated. The council, you know, agrees to send a 10-day notice. We send it to them. It's what happens afterwards. The state allows us to take the motor vehicle, but then we have to store it. We have to do title searches. We have to do notifications, and then we're paying storage fees all along. The other option that we've opted for recently is, you know, send them to municipal court and let them deal with it. But that takes months, so it's a slow process. But, you know, we have quite a few we're working on. So we're happy to take complaints and add them to our list.
Out. City administrator's report, John?
I think I covered everything. Just a reminder that the next meeting is on a Monday and not Wednesday.
That's the 22nd. Thank you, John. Council member comments, Dave?
No, sir.
Joe?
Seth, thanks for this. If people want to know how they can sign up for some of that where's how do you know that, how do they know that's going on? Because I've had people ask me.
Facebook, our website, they can come in.
Okay. I did, maybe it was old business, but did we ever get an answer on, or the 30-mile/hour speed limit out by the dog food plant? Why that got changed?
Because one direction was Frontenac and
So,
one speed
yeah.
and one direction was Pittsburgh.
So it's posted in Pittsburgh, 45 mile an hour north, and then 35 mile an hour in ours going south. So it's 2 different speed zones.
Say that again.
North is 45, south in our jurisdiction is posted 35.
We're talking about between the dog food plant and Capaldo, I think.
Yes,
It's 30.
It's 30.
it's 40, there's a sign that
Or
says
40.
40 down
You're
there
right.
in the,
You're right.
right there past the,
The signs,
Nothing.
it's
I was
30
thinking
out
you were talking
there.
about-
but now it's 30 on the north end.
Right.
From the dog food plant going north,
Right.
which it's always been 30, I think, at Capaldo.
Yeah, I always.
It started, it was 40 and it started at Capaldo to be
Here's,
30.
here's what I think happened, okay, the road got decayed and we had to lower it to 20 so people wouldn't damage their vehicles. And I think that he went ahead and put a 30, and he had asked me, and I assumed that it was 30, we can put a 40.
Yeah, I think that would help people.
Yeah, I think it's just a mistake.
I mean, I think it really would. I hear it, and
That's fine.
I hear it, let's put it that
I
way.
thought you were talking about further south, because
No.
we have the
Yeah.
same situation there that we have in Atkinson, where it was 35 one direction and 30 the other.
Yeah.
39 and a half?
37.
Yeah, there we go.
37.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, since we do have so many good employees, I'd like to make a motion to give them the day off after Christmas, December 26th.
I would agree, and I would second that.
Is that Friday?
It's Friday after Christmas.
And we do it Friday after Thanksgiving.
They take it for Columbus Day. They trade it out.
Got a motion by Pat, second by Donna, to give, city employees, Friday after Christmas off. All in favor? Unanimous? I do have a question. Wednesday before Christmas? Tuesday you guys are open? Okay, Monday and Tuesday you're open.
I do have a question. When do we do all of our, year things, like determine the bank? Is that next meeting?
Yes.
And appoint Pat, the
In
president?
first meeting in January.
First meeting in January?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
I was thinking.
okay, because at that time, I'd like to put in that Wednesday before Thanksgiving is just a part of it. Yeah, because we've done it for the last 3 years, so, but I didn't know when we, okay, thank you.
Pat, you got anything else?
No,
Joe bothering you?
Yes,
yes.
yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And I just got, maybe this could be something we could look into at some time. When you go out on West McKay, the bridge is just all chewed up and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know they say you can't overlay it, but the county did it on 20th Street, just right west of the bypass.
We've been trying to come up with solutions for a while. They can do it, it's just not gonna stay. I mean,
Oh, okay.
asphalt on concrete, it just doesn't stay.
They're pretty good at epoxy patches out there.
There's some different ideas. I think MoDOT has some different ideas that we're looking at.
I just noticed they'd done it.
I've met with Trident quite a few times, and, they're usually on the leading edge of that kind of thing, and they don't really have any great solutions yet, but, yeah, it needs some help. The bridge structurally is good. It's just chewed up.
So this may increase the speed limit to Capaldo, you wanna get them down to Main Street?
Well, like, I'd be curious, even if they did it over 20th Street and it chips away, how long does that take?
No, they gotta go
I mean,
35.
if it's good for 3 years, that,
Yeah, I don't think you get,
I don't know how long, I have no idea.
yeah.
With the semi-traffic,
With
Yeah, I don't know. It may not.
size, I don't know that it would be months.
Okay.
Karen? Donna?
No.
Kyle? Yes. Only thing I have is those that helped with the Christmas lighting ceremony, it was really, really good. And I appreciate you guys, every one of you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Tom, seconded by